Welcome to Full Moon Rising Yoga. My name is Karen, and this class is going to be yoga with weights. Let's go ahead and start in the middle of our mat with our feet a little bit more than hip width apart, standing nice and tall. We'll start with a few neck rotations, slowly rotating your chin down to your chest, your ear over to your right shoulder, back of your head towards your back, left ear to your left shoulder, and chin to chest. And go ahead and do that 2 more times, nice and slow. Once we meet back to the center, let's go ahead and reverse direction. Left ear to left shoulder, right ear to right shoulder. And 2 more times. And meet back in center. Go ahead and bring your head back to its normal position, comfortable here. Let's start with some shoulder shrugs. Just lifting both shoulders up, small circles, letting them drop. Let's go ahead and synchronize our breath with our shoulder shrugs. Inhaling up, exhaling, just let your shoulders drop naturally. Inhaling up, exhaling, let them drop naturally. Let's do that a few more times. Let's go ahead and take your right arm, do large circles going behind you. Go ahead and do that at a nice medium speed, what's comfortable for your shoulder. Warming up our shoulders. Let's go ahead and do the same with our left arm. Circling them back, what's comfortable to your shoulder. Let's go ahead and put our hands on our hips, and let's take our hips and we're going to go in some small circles towards the right, behind us, to the left, in front. Let's go ahead and we're just going to warm up the hip joints. Nice, easy, round rotations here. Round circles. Let's go ahead and reverse direction towards the left. Let's go ahead and put a little bit of weight into your left foot and go ahead and take your right knee, and we're just going to lift the right knee up a little bit. Keep your hands on your hips for a little bit of balance. Let's go ahead and just lift that knee up, warming up the knee. When you're lifting your knee, you can feel free to rotate your ankle. Let's go ahead and do that a few times. And then back with both feet planted on your mat. Let's put a little bit of weight into our right leg and do the same with our left. Raising your leg, bending that knee, and go ahead and lift that up a few times. When you're up, you can rotate your ankle and then lower down. Hands on our hips help with our balance. And both feet planted on the mat. Let's go ahead and slowly lower with our legs still a little bit more than hip width apart. Let's go down to a halfway lift. Just bring your hands so they're just a little bit below your knee. And go ahead and straighten your knees if that's comfortable for you, or you can keep your knees bent, gazing towards the floor, nice flat back. And if you want to pulse your knees by bending and then straightening, you'll feel this in the back of your hamstrings. Pulling your belly button towards your spine. And we're just warming up the hamstrings. Go ahead and bend your knees just a little. Let's go ahead and bring both arms up overhead, standing up, looking up to the ceiling, stretching tall, and then sweeping both arms down by your side. And let's go ahead and do that one more time. Let's slowly bend our knees, going to a halfway lift, and then go ahead and pulsate and just straighten the knees Bend the knees, nice flat back. And again, feeling that in your hamstrings. Very good. Next time you bend your knees, let's sweep both arms up, standing up overhead, gazing at the ceiling, stretching your arms to the ceilings. Exhale, both arms by your side. And let's go ahead and we'll face the front of our mat, and we're just gonna bring our knees down to the mat and do a couple cat-cow to warm up the spine. And we'll start off in table before we move into the cat-cow, making sure the shoulders are over your wrists, your hips are over your knees. You can take the top of your feet, pressing them into the mat for stability, and then go ahead and move slowly through cat and cow. So that's cat when your back is raised towards the ceiling, and then pressing your belly towards your mat is cow. And we want to move your neck with these movements so you're not straining them. So you're gazing up during cow, and then you're looking down towards the mat during cat. Let's go ahead and do this 3 more times, synchronizing with your breath. Inhale cow, exhale cat, or if you're at a different inhale, exhale, stay with that. And then let's meet in table. We're going to take one step forward with our hands, curl your back toes under, and just lean back your hips towards your heels, straightening your arms, looking down at your mat. You can feel this stretch in your toes. And then pushing forward a little bit, hover your knees up over the mat, engaging your abs, still stretching your toes. And then push gently into your first downward facing dog. Go ahead and pedal your heels, bending your left knee, and then straightening and bending your right knee. And alternate back and forth. And go ahead and step or hop to the front of your mat. And let's go ahead and start with your weights. So go ahead and pick up your dumbbell weights for today. We are at the front of our mat. Go ahead and step back with your left leg into a lunge. When we're in the lunge, we want to make sure that our knee is over our ankle. And what we're going to do is we're going to hinge forward a little bit. So that way our back is at an angle. Go ahead and take your weights up by your shoulders in a hammer position. And then you're going to straighten your arms back to work the triceps. And then go forward, the hammer position next to your shoulders. Straighten your arms going back. And you can just look at your feet on the mat, keeping the integrity of that lunge. And we'll do 2 more. Feeling those triceps. The next time you have both of your weights towards your shoulders, step your left foot to the front of your mat. Go ahead and shake your legs out. And then standing at the front of your mat in mountain pose, step back with your right leg into your lunge. Making sure your knee is over your ankle and you have your weights in hammer position next to your shoulder, hinging forward, and then straightening those arms back for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Next time your weights are next to your shoulder, step to the front of your mat. Go ahead and shake your legs out. And let's go to the center of our mat with our legs a little more than hip width apart. And you can either have both of your weights in front of your chest here, or you can hold one weight. And we're going to do keeping our shoulders back here, engaging our glutes, our abs, looking straight ahead, chin parallel to the floor. And let's do 10 squats. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go ahead, bend those knees a little bit, hinge your back forward into that halfway forward fold, and go ahead and lower your weight to the floor to leave it on the floor for a few minutes. Let's go ahead and slowly rolling up one vertebrae at a time and bringing those shoulders back. Let's move into warrior two. Let's go ahead, rotate your right arm, bend that right knee, and holding into warrior two, Virabhadrasana. Gazing over your right hand. Keeping your right front knee bent, let's go ahead and slowly rotate into reverse warrior. Here we're providing space in between our ribs. Our hand is just gently touching our back leg. And now move slowly into warrior angle. Front knee is still bent. You can go ahead and bend your elbow onto that front knee, or you can straighten that arm. Slowly moving back into warrior two. Let's windmill your arms towards the front of your foot, stepping back into plank. Shoulders are over your wrists, pulling your belly button towards your spine. Go ahead and slowly lower, or you can drop your knees and let's lower to the mat. Preparing for cobra. With your hands next to your shoulders, let's slowly, and while you're pressing your legs together, almost like you're pressing your knees together, engaging your glutes. While you're doing that, push up with your hands, opening your heart, opening your chest, and gazing forward into cobra. And slowly lower. Go ahead and tuck your toes under and push up into downward facing dog. Pedal your knees if you like. And go ahead and hop or step to the front of your mat and slowly straighten your knees into a forward fold. And then slowly rising one vertebrae at a time. And then bringing your shoulders back. Let's go ahead and grab our weights. And we're going to be standing at the center of our mat into mountain pose or Tadasana. Our feet nicely gripping into the mat, feeling grounded. What we're going to do here is we're going to do 10 hammer bicep curls into an overhead press. So you're going to pull both your weights up, hammer curl, and then press up overhead. And then slowly lower. And that's one. While you're doing this, be sure to keep the integrity in your posture. You don't want to put too much strain on your lower back. So make sure that you are engaging your glutes, engaging your legs, tucking in your pelvis. And that's 3, 4, pushing up, press, lower, 5, 6, 7, 8, and just 2 more. 9, and pressing up, and 10. Let's go ahead and take your right foot, and we're just going to face the front of our mat. Step forward with your right foot. Step your left foot back, going back into our lunge for our tricep curls. Now we'll go ahead and hinge forward. Bring both of your arms, your hammer weights toward your shoulders, knees over your ankle. And then we have our hinge. We're looking at the floor. And then straighten both arms for 5 times. That's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now slowly, when your arms are back toward next to your shoulders, step your left foot forward. Let's go ahead and shake both legs out. And we'll do the same on the other side. Standing in mountain pose, step back with your right leg in our lunge, hinging forward, straightening both arms for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. When both weights are next to your shoulder, step forward with that right leg, and let's go ahead and shake them out. Bringing ourselves back to the center of our mat, bringing both legs out, a little bit wider than our hips. Again, we're going to do our squats. You can have both weights if you like, or if you like, you can hold one weight. And while we're doing this, our shoulders are dropped lower than our ears. We don't want to have our shoulders shrugged up. They're going to be nice and relaxed. We're going to have our elbows out a little bit. We're really engaging our arms here, always engaging the glutes, engaging the abs. And let's do 10 squats. Four more. 4. Great. Let's go ahead, leaning forward. We're going to lower our weight to the ground, but we're doing this in that nice halfway lift. Go ahead and drop that weight with nice control, and then slowly rolling up one vertebrae at a time, slowly straightening your knees. And when you're standing, round your shoulders back. Let's go into Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana on the right side. Moving into Reverse Warrior, opening up those ribs. Moving into Warrior Angle on the right side. Back into Warrior 2. Go ahead and windmill both arms down, placing them on the mat, stepping back into plank. Let's hold plank here for a few breaths. Drop your knees and lower to the mat, preparing for Cobra. Pushing up nice and gently into Cobra, Pressing those legs together, squeezing your glutes, chin parallel to the floor, and slowly lower. Tuck your toes under and move into downward facing dog. Pedaling your feet if you like. Slowly hop or step to the front of your mat. And then slowly going into your forward fold. And then rising one vertebrae at a time. Coming to a standing position and roll your shoulders back. And let's go ahead and grab our weights. Come back to the center of our mat. Back to Tadasana or mountain pose. And we're going to do the bicep hammer curls to the overhead press. So curl and press up. Engaging your abs, pulling that belly button right into the back of your spine, as if you're pulling it to the spine. Standing nice and tall, imagining that you have a string going through the top of your head, all the way through your spine into the earth, keeping you nice and tall. Feet are pressed into the ground. This is fully controlled movements. And 4. And 5 more. And I lost count, so let's go ahead and just do one more. There we go. And now let's slowly shift back into our lunge. We're going to do this one more time for this weight flow. So let's go ahead and face the front of our mat, step to the front. We're holding our weights. Before we step back, we want to make sure that we have good balance. And let's go ahead, step back with your left leg. Your front knee is bent in a nice lunge, and then we're going to hinge forward. Bring your hammer curl towards your shoulders, and then straightening your arms, both arms back. Keeping a gaze towards your foot to help with your balance. Remember to relax your jaw. And 2 more. Next time your weights are by your shoulders, go ahead and step forward with your left foot and shake your legs out. Standing at the front of your mat, let's go ahead and step back with our right leg. Get ourselves in a nice strong lunge and then hinge forward and then straighten both arms back for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. When both weights are by your shoulders, go ahead and step up to the center of your mat, shaking both legs out. Now let's come to the center of our mat again. You can lower one weight or hold both. And now we're back in with our legs a little bit more than hip width apart and preparing for 10 squats. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Next time you stand up, we're going to go ahead and place that weight on the ground. We're doing our halfway forward bend, forward fold, placing that weight on the ground, and then slowly rolling up one vertebrae at a time and rolling your shoulders back. Let's move into Warrior Two on our right side. Gazing over your right hand. Moving into Reverse Warrior. Moving into Warrior Angle. And gazing up to the ceiling. Back into Warrior Two. Windmill both arms down. Step back into plank. Couple breaths here. Lower your knees. Tuck your feet under and then slowly lower to the mat. With your hands under your shoulders, let's go ahead, squeeze our legs together, engage our glutes, press up with our hands into Cobra. Bringing those elbows to your side. Slowly lowering. And when you're ready, move into Downward Facing Dog. Pedal your feet if that feels good for you. And go ahead and hop or step to the front of your mat. Straighten your legs into a forward fold. Or if your knees are bent, you can put your arms a little bit behind your knees. Slowly work on straightening your knees. Let's go ahead and roll up one vertebrae at a time. And again, when we're standing, roll those shoulders back. Let's go ahead and grab our weights for the last time. Center of our mat, mountain pose, Tadasana. And let's go ahead and do our hammer bicep curls to our overhead press. And doing this with full intention, full control on each curl and each press. And 5 more. And the last time that you're lowering your bicep curl, let's go ahead and slowly lowering down with a nice straight back here. We're going to lower down, drop our weights to the floor. Let's go ahead and slowly bring ourselves to a seated position facing the lengthway on your mat. Go ahead and if you need to, you want to be sitting about in the middle of your mat because we're going to be laying down. But on our way to laying down, let's go ahead if you want to lift one foot up, still knees are bent, and we're going to slowly, or you can have both feet up, we're going to slowly lower, engaging those abs until you're laying down on the floor. And we're going to do reclined pigeon. Go ahead and bend your right knee and take your left leg with your foot on the floor bent Take your right foot, placing it over your knee, almost to the number 4. So now your right knee is facing outwards towards your room. Take your hands and you're going to put them underneath your left thigh. And you want to flex both feet and you're going to feel this in your hips. If you want a little bit deeper stretch, you can take your right hand and just push a little bit on your right knee. You can feel this right in your hips. And you can have your head relaxing on the floor, looking up at the ceiling. Go ahead and lower your left foot to the floor and go ahead and release out of the pose. Now your right foot's on the floor. Let's take our left foot, put it into that leg into our number 4 recline pigeon. Take your hands, clasp them underneath your right leg or just underneath your knee, flexing both feet, gazing at the ceiling, relaxing your jaw. Take a few breaths here. Slowly release. You can self-assist to take your left leg out. Now with both of our knees bent, let's go ahead and put our arms out to a T. Our palms are touching the floor. And let's raise both our knees up so they're a 90-degree angle. Now you're going to drop your knees slowly over to your right side and gaze over your left shoulder. Go ahead, bring just your left knee up, and then slowly bring your right knee up to meet in the center. And slowly lower to your left side. Both knees would be coming down to the ground, and you would be gazing over your right shoulder. Slowly bringing your right knee up to center, and then your left slowly to meet it. Bring them both feet to the ground, straighten out your legs. Let's take both arms up overhead, just behind you, stretching into full body stretch. Spreading your toes, spreading your fingers, straightening and bending your fingers and your toes. And then let's get comfortable for Shavasana or corpse pose. In corpse pose, generally you just let your feet just relax. They're a little bit hip width apart. They're just going to relax open. Your palms are facing the ceiling. Go ahead and close your eyes and just focus on the rise and drop of each breath with your belly. Slowly bring motion back to your fingers and your toes, your wrists and your ankles. And when you're ready, roll over to one side. Keeping your knees bent, nice and comfortable. Go ahead and push into the mat with your hand to self-assist and come up to a seated position, easy pose on the mat. If you can, keeping your eyes closed. Feeling your seat on the mat, sitting up nice and tall, chin parallel to the floor. Let's take a nice inhale through the nose, sweeping your arms up overhead. Exhaling through the mouth, nice cleansing breath. Sweeping your arms down. 2 more times. Inhaling through the nose, sweeping your arms up. Exhale through the mouth, sweeping your arms down. 1 more time. Inhale. Exhale. Let's go ahead and slowly open your eyes. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a great rest of your day.